Okay.
All right, ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. This is where you want to start.
Sure. This is the crazy one.
Oh, there are
So you
several.
have to time
There,
me, Chris. You have
there.
to time me because I'm getting carried away.
All right. Um,
Yeah.
what do we want to do? Like about 15 minutes per game.
Let's try to make it 10 minutes.
Set timer 10 minutes. Okay,
Yeah. We might gain some time in the fifth round.
got it. All right, here we go. Oh shoot, I gotta. I have to unmute myself. Hold on. Otherwise, they're not going to hear me. Check, 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 check. Oh, apparently I am unmuted. All right. And let's get
Okay.
some audio from you. Okay, yeah. All right.
Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. All right, folks. I think you heard all of that. So it's our transparency program. What can I tell you? Um, all right. So welcome back. Welcome, of course, Michael. Thank you for spending some more time with us and looking at these pro qualification games. This is this morning's fifth round games. And as you guys probably heard, we're going to try and stick to about 10 minutes per game. We'd like to get through all of the morning games and then maybe even take a look at the first round of the semis, which happened this afternoon. Very one not so dramatic, one very dramatic reversal in the end game. Very exciting. I hope we get to that one, Michael. I'd really. I actually think there was a really brilliant move that was played, but you will be able to tell
Okay.
me. All right.
You have to show me if I miss it.
I would like to show you a brilliant move that you missed.
Yeah.
That would be cool. All right,
Right.
so let's go ahead and take a look at these.
Okay, I'm going to start with this game. This is the crazy one. So, Chris, don't forget to time me.
Okay,
Um,
got it.
okay, looks like I have about 10 moves on the board. Is that right? Yeah. Okay,
Yes.
first of all, yeah, there's the time issue because this is the game that gets me really excited, and so that's why I'm doing it first. Also, we've had this issue. I wanted to say that we've had this issue with the computer showing the next move. So
I think we
I'm
may
not really sure we've gotten rid of it.
interact with the source in
But if
OGL.
it
Hold
if
on.
it persists, then I just want to ask people to ignore it because sometimes I'll be saying different things, and the AI might not agree with me. So just believe me, okay? Okay.
I've been telling all day long. I've been telling people my new mantra: there's no such thing as territory.
Right. Yeah, that's a good one, isn't it? Okay, so they played this complicated Joseki, and for most players, I would advise you just to stay away from this. But okay. So white has to probably has to pull back. Also, there's this variation which is not simple. This is the main. I'll just show you the very basic variation. Black extends here, white plays here. This is looking to jump out at D13. Black's going to prevent that somehow. There's a Joseki that we played a lot. So it's just this sequence where white gets the squeeze, and it looks like black got some extra territory. But black started with the first move in that corner, and also sometimes white can get a peep here. So sometimes this peep works. White would like to get the Turian first. So ideally, if white can get forcing moves like this, then it suddenly starts looking good for white. So um, I'd say it's generally an even fight because this doesn't always work this well for white. So that would be the basic one, but there's issues all over. Like what happens if black plays here? What happens if white plays here? At some points, white can try playing here once. There's this variation, which is a completely different thing. And of course, you can do the old-fashioned move, which is this one, which was around for hundreds of years. I say it's being played for over 400 years, this one. Back then, they liked to play the two-space pincer. So yeah, they had this one too. There was a game between Hongo Dosaku and Yasui. I think it was Chitetsu. That was the younger brother who became the third leader of the Yasui house. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's just complicated. But what I can say is that the game variation is probably bad for white. This is just kind of a cop-out. Okay, so much for that. And so they're playing this Joseki thing in the lower right. Yeah, okay. Looking really good so far. And so it's got so messy though. Oh yeah. Okay, so black should be playing the Atari here just to make white heavy. So like when black forgets to play the Atari, all of these white stones, they have extra eyes and stuff. And if white gets in trouble, white can always play this move. So this was an opportunity for white to play away and maybe start something on the bottom side or the top side. It gave white a lot of flexibility. So black should play this while he can. And then black could play here, black could play an extent. This is the move that I see most with Karago. I don't know. This would be okay. This would be a kind of a safe move. But white played the peep here. So white played the peep here, and it sort of reverted. So, and then white, that was an overplay. Okay, so that was good. White should probably just go after the one stone. So this is a big stone to capture, and it would make a difference to what happens to the black group. Let's see.
Hey, you notice anything?
What?
Look at the stream.
The screen? Ah, oh, the blue dot's gone. Great.
Thank you.
Well done.
We can say thank you to Daniel Lambert. He's my new hero.
Mhm.
Thank you, Daniel.
I just wonder where that AI was hiding because you told me you turned it off.
I can tell you what I did to turn out. I can't tell you why it works.
Okay. Yeah, so this is a good move. It's sort of it's a loose connection to this stone and it's putting pressure on the white group. And it's looking at the move here where black would be peeping and threatening to cut off the five white stones in the corner. So yeah. So white's struggling a little bit here. And this is crazy. Yeah, this is already so wild when black plays here. Black didn't need to do that much. So like playing here, already black's very happy that white is going to be wasting a lot of stones locally. It's sort of painful for white. And white's position on the left side isn't very good either. It's overextended. So white was hoping to play at this point at some time, but it was an overplay basically. White's connection to the this group on the top, it's not very good. So black can always play a Hanir here or something, and that would cut off the white stone on the left side. So white's getting into trouble basically. But it got really wild when black cut from this side. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, like if you ask the computer, just about every move they played is a mistake. But in the human context, it's a good fight. Okay, so well, this is obviously bad because white's playing an Atari against the stone that black never wants to save. So white's obviously played here with a cut in the center. So that would have been a lot better. So that was clearly a mistake. Okay, so black's getting into trouble here. Trying to surround the white group, it turns out it was slightly an overplay. White could have played here. So here, white's making a double threat because the stones in the center need to play another move here, and the black group on the side is not alive. So that would be bad. White's going to win the semi, so that's going to be bad for black. So white pushed through. Now it's good for black because black can live. White has lousy shape and black has good shape. So white's group on the right has lousy shape. Black's alive on the bottom side pretty much. So this is suddenly good for black, right?
All right.
Didn't happen. So black played here. And now the group on the side is not quite as happy as it was before. And this is not a ladder. So there's some issues that black has now. So it would have been a lot better for black to have taken this variation, which is so much cleaner and beautiful for black. Okay. So yeah, there's some issues with this group. And there was the issue with white running out in the ladder. So white could have run out in the ladder here. So that's why black had to add a stone there. So it's not working so well for black now. It's a wild fight. Okay, so white also has this group on the right, which is in trouble. I'm trying to be quick here because like I could spend a lot of time on this.
Yeah, because
it's so exciting.
Got like about a minute left here.
Okay, this was a slack move. So this is a point where white had to push through and cut. And white's group on the bottom side here it has a lot of liberties. And so it's pretty strong. The weak white group is the one on this side. Black obviously has two weak groups. So white has to play very strongly in the center because I'll just mark the one group. This white group here is the one that is strong. So this is the one that white doesn't have to defend so much. And if it gets into a semi with one of the black groups, this white group is going to win. This white group is the one that is in danger of dying. So that's why white wants to heat up the side in the center, play very strongly here, so that it puts more pressure on black's group on the right. So this is where white messed up. After this, it starts to look good for black. So yeah, black's taking control of the game here. And white managed to live, but white's losing now. So it looks like it's just going to end simply. But yeah. Okay. Black to play, Chris.
Black to play.
Yeah, black to play. I can even give you this one. It doesn't really matter. You can play or not play it. Just leave it as it is. So it's a semi on the top side.
1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. Just L17.
All 17 lose by one move.
Okay. Oh, right. Oh, okay.
You're attacking the wrong stones. You want to attack the white stones in the center.
Oh, those guys. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Say one, two, three liberties. How about N14?
N14. Okay. Then what?
L14. I didn't know there was.
Right. You have to attack in the ladder, right?
Yeah,
Looks like it works.
it does.
So that would work. Um, Also, you could have done it the other way.
I wondered about that one. That's a little easier, right?
This is a bit easier.
Yeah.
This way, yeah, it's better shape. It's the same result. White collapses. So that would have ended the game. But black attacked the wrong group. So black played here and found this ko, which is pretty desperate. Okay. Now, this gave black three ko threats locally. This would have given black only one more ko threat. Unless black plays this move, which is self-killing. So black's not going to do that, right? So black has only one more ko threat. In the game, black got three ko threats. Two more, that is. And also, this move was white maybe losing mistake. It's a close game maybe. White has to play ko threats. And the problem with the game move is that first thing, when white wins the ko, say white wins this ko, the exchange of this stone for this stone, black's gaining a lock. So later on, if black plays here, black gets the whole side there. So that's a big gain for black. Even if white plays at K17, that exchange has made it relatively difficult for white to reduce the black territory. So that's a huge gain for black when black wins the ko. And it's also a huge gain for black when white wins the ko. I mean, I said that backwards. It's a huge gain when white wins the ko. But let's look at the variation where black wins the ko, which is the game variation. No, not that one. The game variation. So he's playing all these moves from the corner also. Q19 is the same problem. When white plays something like this was the last area. Well, white had a ko threat here, but it's sort of running out of, the ko is getting smaller and smaller when white wins it. So it's getting worse and worse. But eventually white's going to have to probably play this ko threat. So if we have a trade like this, obviously this strong position, it's going to help black a lot. So white shouldn't have allowed black that. And white wants to make that trade without all those trades. So like white wants to make the trade now. And it would be like this, and white would still have forcing moves. So like would still have, say black plays somewhere around here. White would still have moves like this, for instance, to take away black's territory on the side. So For instance, something like this. So that's a huge difference on the top side there if white had left that. And so white's losing moves were probably the moves like this, which just made it impossible for white to gain anything by winning the call. So like at this point, it's probably bad for white, even if white wins the call. But let's see, what did the game do? Okay, yeah. So no, that was just a loss. So that finished that game. Okay, I'm probably behind time.
Not too
You
bad.
didn't stop me.
No, well, I'm not a completer
Okay,
here. All right, set
let's go on
timer
to the
10
next game.
minutes for real this time.
Okay, so let's go on to room number 1522546. So this is,
Hold
let's
on one
see, your
sec. Let me just get the board up there.
uh,
Board
two people of the same name. Are they brothers?
The Zhao's? No,
Yeah. No, they're not brothers. Okay.
no. All right, I'm sorry. What? It's 152. What's
One
it?
five two two five four six.
Got it. No, there are two Zhao's and
And you have,
two Zhao's and two Zhangs, and I was really hoping that the Zhao's and the Zhangs would all meet up, but not to be.
okay, can you give me control?
This is Zhu Zhao and Zhao. I have different numbers than what you have. Do me a favor and throw that link in the chat.
Okay. But I see the right game
It
on
is,
the
but the
broadcast.
number, I'm worried if I use the number, it won't be the same game. I'm not quite sure why that would be. I guess I can try.
Okay, let's see. I'm sending you a chat now. Sorry. There we go.
All right, that should be good to go. Oh, I have to give you
Doesn't
control.
look like I have control though.
Nope, that is true. That is true, but you do now.
Okay, great. Okay, do you see an empty board?
I see an empty board.
Okay,
I see no marks,
so
no AI.
Black won this one, didn't he?
Well, Zhao definitely won the game, that's for sure. I'm sorry, it's been a long day.
Yeah, I think Black won this one. Let's see. Oh, maybe not. Oh yeah,
Okay.
Black won this one. Okay. I'll just assume Black won the game. Okay.
Hold on one sec. I can tell you this was round 5. I can tell you this was Yuan won this one. Yuan playing. No, it looks like Yuan was white.
Is that a Daniel Zhou and
No, I'm sorry, Daniel on black beat Yuan. I'm sorry, you're right. You are
right,
correct.
yeah, that's right.
You're correct.
Okay. So it looks like the large knights move Kakari is still popular. I don't see it very much in modern professional games, actually.
It's
Okay.
a lot here.
Okay, I have an issue with this move. And this is the positional thing I'm going to be talking about here is just in the beginning. If white's going, nothing's happening with this stone. The problem I have with the way white plays here is that there are weak white groups, but there's no weak black group. So if I was going to play with white, I would invade here. Or if I felt like trying out this kind of Joseki thing, I would invade, I would peep here. So like, if white can peep here and black answers, maybe it's a good idea for white to get further off onto the side, or even play the game point. And that exchange of the peep it's a good exchange for white. So one way for white to do it is to play this and go crawling like this. And it would be, you have to research the Joseki. If you don't feel happy with that, maybe white should just play a pincer. So something like this. and then maybe this. It's going to be a fight. But the point is that now black has a weak group. So it's important to have a weak black group. If white's going to do anything there, white should be fighting with a black group that's not settled. So the problem with this is that black's alive and white is not. Okay, this is slightly slack because black's sort of alive in the corner. So I would play here and here. White plays like this, black can attack on a large scale like this. And black's looking at the pincer here, which is another big move. So the upper left area is an opportunity for black. This was a bit slow. And yeah, capturing the territory like this, the S18 point is not big enough to justify this. And it strengthened the black group. So now white's really weak. So this is white's weakest group. And this is also a weak group. So there's two ways. So white played here. And first of all, playing away from this upper left position is a bad idea. So you want to defend the weak group. And there's two white groups that are weak. And there's an argument to defend the top side, and there's an argument to defend the left side. And it's something that is, in human logic, it's sort of hard to decide. And I think my answer to that is that either one is probably a good move. So, for instance, this is a good move because it defends the left side. It also takes a big point, an opening point. So that's why this is a good move. This is a good move because it defends the top side, and that top side group was pretty close to dying locally. And so that was obviously an issue. So that's a group you really want to defend. It also puts some pressure on this black group. So there's some extra value to that. So that's a reason for this move to be a good move. I think if white had played one of these two moves, it would have been, either one would have been good. So white played away, obviously a big point, but this is a big point plus the extra value that black gets by attacking a weak white group. Yeah, okay. So now all of the black groups are strong and white has a lot of weak stuff. So white had to defend that. Maybe white could play here. This is going to be really scary, but if white gets to play another move here, this is going to be alive. This is a live shape. So maybe black plays here. In this variation, it's not easy for black either because the black group in the corner is not alive. So that's why I'm choosing E18 as an attempt to live. So white has to play strongly here. It just emphasizes the point that black should have done it. White should have done it immediately, and then white wouldn't have. In this case, white's already alive. So this would actually be a living shape already. It's worth remembering that this is alive. It's sort of like the 8-point shape that's alive. So at least you would have one living shape. Or white should play this one. So I'm just going back to what I said before, but that's really important, I think. It's probably the most important thing I can say about this game. Okay, so white's giving up a lot of territory, and this is just bad. So let's see, is there anything else? You know, it's this is where black won the game basically, and they're playing fairly silly after that, and I think black just went away with it. It's just that black got so much territory in the top left, and white was just left behind with liabilities. So white didn't have anything to do with that, and black played a steady game from here on. So black's playing the big points, and dealt with this one group that was weak. So I'm going to leave this one, get some time for some other games.
Good. All right.
Okay, let's see. What shall I do now?
Just give me just send me the link and I'll pull it up.
Okay.
And white is following. So one of our folks says white is following the proverb: "Think globally, sacrifice globally." Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. There is that proverb.
I like it.
But it doesn't work when you've just started a fight there.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got? 777540.
Okay, it should be Yoder versus Xu. Is this the semifinal? Maybe we should keep the semifinal for later.
Uh, yes, that's a semifinal.
Okay, let's go on to okay. Okay, let's do this one. I'll send you a different link. Okay.
Okay.
Yoder versus Wu.
Oh, this would be the game. Yeah, this would be the game that got Yoder into the semi. I think.
Okay, yeah.
I just need to.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, looks
Oh,
like I have control now. So, do you see the empty board?
I do.
Good. Okay, I'll start.
Yep.
Okay, so this time they didn't do the small nanore. So white avoided that. White could have played here, no problem. But you have to remember the ladder does favor black. So when black plays here, white cannot crawl because this would be this ladder again. And it's going to hit that black stone in the lower left corner. So that's why um, white would have to play here. Maybe something like this. So maybe it could be something like this. And we've seen this fight in previous rounds. So maybe they decided and they didn't want to do that this time. So white plays here. This is a modern joseki. Okay. Okay, so now we're back in the complicated stuff. So here, if white plays here, maybe black is thinking of getting into this complicated joseki again, which is going to be really difficult. So you have to know you have to research it. You have to know the variations. And this one, you might remember this one from AlphaGo because the AlphaGo games, we did some videos about them
Yep.
on your channel, right? This is a move that AlphaGo played against itself, where it's aiming to play something on this side. So it's making miai of that and something on this side. And black played here. Black played the tsukehiki here. So this is a bit of an unusual move. And white played here. So this is where white should have played the forcing move here. And if black connects, then white can jump. So this would be a better connection of the white stones. So white's probably okay. Like if we get something like the game, I think it was like this. Oh no, it wasn't like that. But if we get something like this, white's stones are connected. White has a good shape there, and black's corner is not so big. So this would be, um, it would be reasonably close. It would be a close enough game, an even enough game, but it would be okay for white. So when white plays here, it looks like a shape move, but it gave black an opportunity. So there's two ways for black to go about this, and I would probably have done it this way, which is the more active way, and black gets to capture the white stone. So at this point, if white takes here, this is probably not so good for white because white can't take in a ladder while fighting that ko. White probably has to squeeze like this, and white just doesn't have a ko threat. So all of those cutting points make this probably good for black. So white's probably going to play here, and black gets to capture the stone, and probably here. So in this case, white's outside shape would not be so great, and it would not have eyes. So this is probably the way I would play. Another option would be just to ignore that and do something like this. So this would revert to this kind of thing. This time black got to play at B17 instead of C17, so it's slightly better shape in the corner. So more territory. and then black could play here. So in the game, black played this one, and that was just bad. It just helped white. And yeah, so this could have been a losing move because black is surrounding it's the famous open skirt thing. Black surrounding the open skirt, and it's really small. So at this point, white doesn't have to do anything to win the game. White can just play normally. So black should have played that, for instance, here, a move in the center. You see this forcing move a lot. White would probably have to answer it somehow. But the shimari is big, so black has to get to the shimari. Obviously, this is a big move. So when black wastes a stone here, this is completely meaningless. Like there's almost no territory. If we assume that later on in the game, black's going to continue surrounding that, it looks like white's getting some territory back in the center and is getting some territory back here. Black's profit is negligent, so it wasn't an opening point. So jumping here could have been a losing move. But now white plays this. This is a good move, but it makes the game really tactically challenging. So I would be happy already at this point with just any move. So like just a normal Kakari would be. I'd say white's probably ahead already. But yeah. So this is the right direction. It's good for black to be splitting the white groups. So this is actually a Joseki, and this gets rid of the cut at D5. It's a good shape move. Looking at B3 next. So this whole sequence was a Joseki. But it's working for black because black is attacking that white group. Okay, and now that's bad shape. There's various reasons why it's bad shape. One of the things is that black's looking at this stone. If black can save the marked stone, the stone that I've just played, if black can save this stone, it doesn't matter that black can't save the other stone because this is false eye. So the whole group is about to die here. So if black can pull this off, then it's going to be a game-winning thing, just if black can get this attack. So the problem with that is that white has a peep here, which can capture both black stones. So it's bad for black when both of the black stones get captured, obviously. So that backfired. So white needs that peep. So white should, so when black plays here, the game move, white should not peep there from the wrong side because that gets rid of that peep that was helping white on the other side. So this is already bad for white, and black could already play here. And there's no way to capture the outside stone. So like if white plays here and black connects, it's a net. So obviously white can capture the one stone. But again, capturing that one stone is doing white no good. And this would be an easy win for black. Pretty much over at this point. The game is already over. So this could have been a very devastating attack. It happened later, but black could have been doing it already. And that's why white's peep was bad. So white has to play here, and white has a forcing move here. So obviously this is a connected shape. So that would have been better. Okay, so that was a surprisingly devastating mistake that would have lost the game if black had just played here. Black defended the corner. So that was, locally, that's a big move. And white jumped out, and black attacked here. So that was white's last chance to defend by playing here. So this would defend the upper left. And oh, sorry, I'm using the wrong tool here. Let's get back to yeah. So this would defend the upper left. And also by putting pressure on, by peeping there, white would still have room to squeeze out like this. So although black has good shape with the bamboo joint here, it's supposed to be good shape when your opponent has peeped at both sides of the bamboo joint, but it's more important that this captures the whole thing in a geta. So black wouldn't be able to do that. And in this variation, white already has guaranteed an eye here. So capturing this stone with an eye, then white can make the second eye with a move like this, or sometimes squeeze the corner a little bit. There's all sorts of ways white can make a second eye. So this would be easy enough for white. In the game, black got to escape here, and this was the game-winning attack. So yeah. Now white's dead all over. It's just, yeah, it's not working. Um, White tried a ko. So white's getting desperate here, but it turned out it wasn't even a ko. So black parried the various attempts that white made to confuse things, and nothing bad happened here. So that was how black won the game. So it was just very simple, actually. It was this one attack here with black playing the kosumi out. White couldn't afford to allow that to happen. So all of my comments are sort of focusing on how white could have prevented this from happening. And it was just so terrible for white when black got to do this. So yeah, so the just one more variation. So basically, the reason it's working is because black can capture this stone, and it would be the same story. It would still be bad for white. So black would play something on this side maybe, and the whole group is it's still not alive. White can only make one eye.
Yeah, but even
This would survive, but it would be painful.
right, as exactly what I was going to say. I mean,
Yeah,
dying is sort of a mercy killing, isn't it?
right. So that's all I have to say for this game.
Alrighty, Craig, you were making good time today.
Yeah, maybe I'm. Let's do Donley versus Song. Let's see if I can find that.
Yeah, just give me the.
Okay, it's this one. All right, I'll send you a link.
Yep. Oh, you finished ahead of time. My timer just
Yeah,
went off. So good job.
great.
All right, good. Let me grab that. Bring that.
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute. That's not right. Uh,
You know, the rest of the game is pretty wild too, so people can look at the rest of the game. I'm probably just going to focus on the lower left corner.
yeah, I think that's the thing. Just pick the things you want to focus on because all of these games are available both
Hmm.
on League Go and on OGS. But League Go is probably easier,
Yeah.
actually.
They did a kind of a life and death thing in the top left too,
Hmm.
which is sort of interesting, but I'll leave that for people. Okay, you
Okay.
should see 5 stones on the board,
I do indeed.
maybe a bit more. 7 stones? Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, 7
Yeah.
sounds.
Okay, so attaching here, this is a move. Just because AIs like it, it doesn't mean you have to play it all the time. So like playing here would be perfectly okay. In fact, this is probably the usual move. Or of course the low Kakari. One of these Kakaris is something I would choose. Playing here, it's a thing. So if black plays here, the idea is to play something like this, maybe cut here. This would be one example of a fairly common Joseki. It usually works well with the Kakari there in the corner, something like this. So that's the general idea. It would be, it's not as if this wins the game, it's probably an even result. So black countered, black didn't do that one. So black played a Hane on the outside. And white can extend here, but it's sort of lousy shape. So white generally wants to play the Hane in the corner. And you have to know this Joseki. And there's variations. There's a number of ladders involved, so it's sort of complicated. And yeah, so you have to research it. So basically, white starts with this. We saw a lot of this with AlphaGo too.
Hmm.
And black played an unusual variation here. So the ladder doesn't even favor black. So this would have been okay for white, only they went way off script immediately. I'll just show you the basic variation. So the basic variation is black cuts here. And it's important to capture that stone there on the third line because that's a cutting stone. And also black's still going to be okay on the bottom side. So a basic Joseki thing would be white playing here. And by doing so, white has enabled the double hane here. And black is actually winning the semi in the corner, so black can play away. So black can play a ladder breaking move. Black can play something. You see people playing the tower, the attachment there in the corner, but like if you don't like to do the AI thing, you can play a normal kakari. In the corner here, black's already winning. Black has to play here, and black's going to win by one move. And there's various ways that semi can turn out, but black's going to win always. Sometimes you see white playing that exchange just to try to get the Sagari in here. It changes what happens with the ladder. So that would have been a Joseki. That's a Joseki, it's reasonably close. So in the game, black played something different. And then white played here. So this was the mistake. Even though the ladder favors white, this is the stone that white is supposed to sacrifice. So extending it here and exchanging for this made it extremely bad for white already. So there's the stones in the corner. To put it simply, I would just say they're dead. They're dead, but it's going to be bad for white. I'm going to show you a variation where black allows it to live, and it's going to be even worse. So like you're going to wish they were dead.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
It is true that I'm punchy, but also that's just really funny. I'm sorry.
Mhm. Okay. So this is the side that white wants to save. So maybe white should, let's see, should white cut first? This is it's a tricky variation.
Oh,
Maybe
somebody,
white should cut first.
somebody's saying that looks like the small avalanche, but I don't think this is anything like the small avalanche, is it?
Only black has an extra stone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
it's more the idea that white is trying to sacrifice something.
Right.
It's
Okay.
like
Yes.
it
Okay.
started with the black shimari. So black has two stones to start with. That makes it a one move difference to the small avalanche. So
Okay. All right.
like the white stones here, they're in the same places. So these stones, even this stone in the corner, they're in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Mm.
so that's actually it's a possible explanation for white playing this, which is a shape you see a lot.
Ah, yes. I bet you're right.
So the one move difference is pretty important here, obviously. So yeah, going back to the correct variation, I think we can cut here first. And the idea is that white wants to play the target, white wants to force with this side. This would be so much better. And then something like this. This is a ladder next, so black extends. We get a variation of something like this. So this would be okay for white. So like it could be a running fight, which would be okay. Black could go for the cut. It's still going to be okay for white. So something like this. Black gets 25, less than 30 points. Yeah, less than 30 points. But white gets the rest of the board. So this is okay for white. The control of the center is pretty important. So white had to cut here. So either cut or maybe play here because the ladder does favor white. But it's probably better to cut first. Yeah, that looks safer. And white's threatening to capture at B3. So like this. So it's a pretty much it's a forced sequence. Yeah, so that would have been good. Maybe I'm going to say it's good for white. So I'd say that would refute black's unusual choice here, in which the normal Joseki was to play here. Okay, back to the game. So obviously it's a big win for black when white plays. Let's see when white plays. Yeah, keeps going to the variation. Okay, and when white plays here, this is already really good for black. Okay, it's okay to play the Atari here. The reason white hesitated to play this Atari is that it's going to completely kill the corner. So in this case, white doesn't even have a hope to live in the corner. And so that's why he didn't play that. So like this would be relatively easy for black to kill the corner because black has this stone here. So it takes away that forcing move that white had at B3. So that's why white sort of hesitated to play that Atari. But black played it against white. So when white extended here, black got to play the Atari. Black's playing forcing moves from all sides. So black should be happy. Okay. Uh, Black didn't. Okay, this was Black's mistake. So first of all, Black should crawl first here, and White can't cover on the second. Well, White can cover if you want to. White can cover on the second line. It's just going to be really bad. So Black cuts here. Uh, no way to capture this. This is just going to collapse. White's going to have to do something drastic to avoid dying here, and this is dead. So it would just be everything dying all over the place. So that's obviously bad for White. So I can't do very much with this. So if Black crawls here, at this point, the variation I just showed you is White cannot cover on the second line. White would have to extend. So then Black can play. So the order of moves is important because if Black plays the Atari in the center first, then White can cover at L2. So that's a big difference. And then Black could just crawl again. So Black can crawl here. Pushing here looks like it would. Black could add a stone if Black wants to. And so like this is the whole thing is Black's territory, and Black still has the pushing move at H6. So it's good for Black in all directions. So it's a bad variation for White. Okay. So he should have crawled once more, basically. He should have crawled once more before playing that Atari. So crawling at K2, it's an important move that extends Black's liberties. In the game, Black pushed first, and then he didn't even crawl at K2. So he's going after the White group. He should crawl. He should still crawl. And this is where White gets to live. So White can play here and live. And White's going to lose by Black's already alive on the side, so Black doesn't even have to play this. Or Black could play here. The thing is, living in the corner, it doesn't affect any of the Black groups, and it's a huge win for Black. So it's just terrible. So even if Black plays locally here, this would be good. Or since Black's alive already, Black could play a big move like this. This is probably pretty important. White should be ready to give up here. So like even though White can force with moves like this, it's just well, Black might not play all of those moves, but White's group in the center is not very strong. So later on, Black can jump at L5 or something. White's going to get into trouble. So yeah. Probably best for White to cover here. And then Black can add a stone and kill this. So even if White plays the Atari here, White can try to extend liberties. Black's in a normal semi, Black's winning by one move. Like White can do some crazy stuff and get some distant ko. Yeah, but yeah, it's not worth it. Because White has terrible shape on the outside, so it's not going to be worth it. Okay, so in the game, Black failed to play failed to play this move. And he went after the corner. Capturing the corner on a small scale is bad. Black needs one more stone here. So in this case, White would actually be okay. So Black's captured the corner. We've gone back to something that looks pretty much like the basic Joseki, where White was trying to sacrifice the corner on a small scale and get something on the outside. So it's looking very much like that now, where White controls the right half of the lower side and has some strength towards the center too. So this would be okay. It's a pretty even game, maybe. In the game, Black played away, and he's dead. Yeah, this is close enough to being dead. Like he might be able to try, but yeah, the normal semi he's already lost. So this was yeah. I'm just going to leave it there. He must have misunderstood the fact that the corner White has extra liberties there because Black has to go back to B5. So yeah, the extra excitement I was talking about happened in the top left corner here, where they got into a kind of a tsumego system. But it's sort of irrelevant because Black has so much territory on the top side.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So did Black win this game? I'm getting confused here.
Yeah, me too. Let me just take a look. This is Zhou-Zhou, right?
I guess white won. White won anyway. It was the lower left corner was too big, I guess.
Yuan. Yes, Yuan
Song
won.
won.
This, yeah, Yuan won. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
right. Yep,
Yeah.
right.
So it was this fight in the lower left corner, which was the decisive fight, I guess.
Wow, so
Okay.
funny. We should call that when good Josekis go bad.
Yep.
Okay, all right. What's next?
Okay. It's Zhang and Xu. Let's see if I can find this one. Okay. Must be this game. Yeah. Okay, I'll send you a link.
Yep.
Yeah, this is it.
Zhang and Shu.
Okay. You should be seeing an empty board.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
So
Zhang Shu. Oh, this is an interesting game. This was a key
um,
game
mhm.
between Edward Zhang and Michael Xu. Michael's a 12-year-old, quite strong. And
Mhm.
if he wins, he goes to the semis. And if Edward wins, I think he was in a tiebreak situation. So,
Yeah.
very important
Uh-huh.
game.
Okay, so this is what they did. And there's something about the Takamoku, the 5-4 point. When your opponent invades the 3-3 like this and you play away, it just becomes what is probably a bad kakari. So it's as if white had played the 3-3 point and black had played this kakari, which he probably didn't want to play. So like it would have been better if you could just get rid of these two stones and have the black shimari in the top left. So that exchange of black d5 for white e4, you don't want to have it on the board. So when you play the Takamoku and your opponent invades the corner, especially if it's the 3-3 point, you want to continue locally. So I'd say here. So this is the basic Joseki. White can't live with Sente, so you're going to get Sente. And if you want to play the Shimari, you can play the Shimari now. Or you can play a big point, like any big point. Any big point. If you go for the 3-3 points, you could even play the 3-3 point. Your computer will like you. Okay. So black has to continue locally. When black plays away and allows white to play here, that's just a bad Kakari against the 3-3 point. So it's not only that white got three corners, but the Kakari is better not on the board. So this Kakari here is turned into a Kakari where black would usually be playing the 4-4 point probably, or black would be playing here immediately. In either case, black doesn't want to have that stone on the board. So it turned the 5-4 point into a bad move. Okay, we're playing a Joseki here. I don't know about this move. Like, it's probably better for black to play something on the top side. Probably better to do something like this. Um, Sometimes you can play here and gain a stone, gain a move, a tempo, you might say. So probably the top side is bigger. If I was going to play on the right side, I'd play here. I don't see what the point is of playing this move. Okay. And yeah, so this is actually a position that people get into a lot. And this move. So this is supposed to be a good Suji. And black answered here. The only time black has to answer here is when this doesn't work. So, for instance, if black had played like this, then white would peep here. And this would not be doing anything because white would still be threatening to play an Atari at M16. So black would have to connect here anyway. So that would be really bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if white plays here, in this case, black has to connect. So if black had played here, white would do that and play something on the top side, make some territory, and it would be okay for white. When black is played like this in the game, it's not necessarily the best move. So it's a shape. It's still a shape, but black is definitely not going to connect here. But black did connect here. But black shouldn't connect here, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
So black should play here. White looks like white can play an extension here, but even if white gets that, obviously this is better for black. It doesn't look like white can capture the black group in the center. White's weak in the center. I mean, white's group on the top side is not so strong either. So black can weather that, should be able to. I'll leave it for the players to calculate the semi. Okay, so black has to play here anyway, whatever. So even if black backs away from the fight and has to do something like this, this would be wasting losing a tempo here, losing sente is meaningless. So you could argue that maybe white should have played here. This would have been a variation that white could play, maybe something like this. There's the weakness there where it's not a complete protection against any kind of black invasion like that. So the weakness of white's peep here is that there's a weakness at K17. So that's what I was just showing you. But it does gain a move. So white could still play something like this. Like this maybe, and would have fairly good shape towards the outside. But white played this. So this is also, since white can extend here, and this looks like it would capture the 3 black stones. So since white can do that, it's playable for white. So it's not as if M18 was a bad move, but N17 was definitely too slow. Okay. And then there's this. This made it easy for white because it's like playing too many Ataris. They tell you if you play Atari, then you're losing an opportunity. This white group is not even dead. So if white wants to, white can live in the corner. There's ways that white can live. So like white can play here. I think this is an example of a living shape. So playing all of these in order makes it easy for white. Black should just play the Atari on the outside, and if white connects there, then black can push through. You have to play the correct order in order to mess with white's shape. So this would be a much more awkward shape for white, and it's going to be dead when black plays here. So black has a good move coming up. Locally, it's dead. So if white plays here, sometimes black can play the Atari from this side, but it has to be a decisive move, which cuts white off. And then it would be a good move. So playing it one step at a time just made white's responses easy. And white's not going to do that, obviously. So white played on the outside. And so white is not going, locally white's not dead yet. Locally black is still a bit short. So if white gets to play the extension here, black has to worry about eyes. And so it's not going very well. So black's doing this crazy stuff. And this is an example where you can save the group and it's still not successful for black. I think I'm ready to finish with this game.
Yeah.
So like when you've played the 5-4 points, it's generally not a good idea to have most of your stones on the second line anyway. Black was a bit low in the follow-up. So black's attempt to attack white on the top side, it backfired fairly badly.
I get a sense just from a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing that one of the ways that AI is affecting is it's really people are doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and it's kind of cool. I mean, a lot of it doesn't work, or it gets mixed up with classic Josekis, like you were just showing. But it's kind of cool to see people, trying stuff out.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. All right, what's
Right.
next?
Okay, I think we finished all the fifth round
We
games.
did. Let's take a look at the exciting semis. Remember,
Let's
folks.
do Yoder versus Xu first. Let's see if I can find that.
Yoder shoe.
I think this is it. So it's okay.
Oh wait,
I'll send you a link.
just tell me the number because you gave it to me before. Is that four
I
zero?
gave it to you before. It's 1522698.
I don't even see those numbers. 698. No, just throw a link in there.
Okay.
Yeah, you're getting different numbers.
There you go. I think the players are getting tired. I think I'm seeing that in this game.
Well, you definitely see it in the end game, which is fairly tragic. Um, Yeah, I mean, actually, we could just back
Who
up
won
for.
this game?
Well, let's just back up for a little bit. I want to show you the end game here. So just back up
I didn't
about.
look at the end game, so you can show me your tesuji.
Yep. Well,
Uh,
it's Eric's
okay.
tesuji. Back up, back up, back up. One at a time. Up. Keep getting forward, 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 forward. So they're playing end game. White has about a 10-point lead, and there's this scary looking white shape in the middle there. They're just playing end game. They're playing end game. They're down to it's all like one. It's all pretty much 1 point stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Boom, boom, boom. It's all good. 1 point. Yep. Wait. Yeah. Keep going. Boom. That move
Okay.
right.
That looks like a snapback.
That's a problem. Now it's a real co.
Yeah. That was big.
Big enough.
So was Black winning if that hadn't happened?
Black was up 10, and then he loses by, I believe, you can check the final score. I think it was like maybe 4 or 5 points.
Okay. Yeah. Basically, Black won the fight in the top side,
Right.
and that was a win for Black. So I'll ignore that final. I wasn't actually looking at the end game. So yeah, it was good that you caught that one for me.
You're not the only one.
Okay. So you see an empty board now?
I do.
Okay. Actually, this is a fairly popular way to do this, but this was a very strong move, and it's good for White when White can capture this Black stone like this. So Black had to, um, it would have been normal to play here and push through and come down here. That would have been one way for Black to play. Or Black could play the double hane. So the cut is sometimes it's a tesuji, but I think he played it in the wrong. Sometimes you can play a double hane. That sometimes works too. But the variation I would play is this one, where there's a lot of cutting points, and so White has. So there's the cut from Q13, and there's obviously the cut at O17. So it should be okay for Black. So this was a great move, a strong move that captured this. So this is good for White. Okay. I don't get this move. Definitely don't get. It's not touching the Black stone. So This is something you play in a completely different position where, like it's you see it sometimes when there's already a black stone here, and then there's some. Sometimes it's a good shape for white to play at S4.
Which you
When
normally
there's no black stone there, you want to kick.
you just kick, right?
You want to kick.
Yeah.
So white kicks, and you can continue in this position. Black's sort of cramped, so white can actually continue here.
Yeah, that's just normal.
Why not kick? So yeah, this is really the game move is bad. It gives black extra eye space when black plays here. Black just gets a living shape. So that was weird. And black played here. Okay. And yeah, so black should start with this. So black should start with the move that gets the territory and that gets the eyes. So if white plays anything on top, black's just alive here. So it's easy enough. Nothing bad is happening, right? So even a move like this, it doesn't work locally. But even if white finds a way to make it work, it would still be bad if black gets something like this on the outside. White's group in the corner, it's losing its eyes gradually. So capturing this stone in the corner is really big. So black should start with this, establishing an eye and a strong shape on the right, and then black can think about playing here. So playing here immediately, if white crawls, then black has lousy shape. So like in a variation like this, white's maybe not going to do this immediately, but white's going to be able to clip off some of those black stones. So like white's going to get an area here when white needs it. So crawling at S5 is actually a pretty big move for white. White would not do that, but maybe white would continue with something on this side.
I think
In this case, white's still looking at M5.
White's unorthodox move convinced black it was a good move.
Well, yeah, white's move was bad, but black had to take advantage of it.
Right.
It's sort of obvious that black should play here. And then white played here. That's a strong move. And now it's sort of complicated, but I think black still has time to play here. So this would be a bit more scary. But I think black's still probably okay. So like you have to worry about stuff like this, but it's really dangerous for white. So black has a kind of a forcing move here. At any point, black can live in the corner. So black could play here and just live. But black could probably also start a fight. So something like this. Black's still not dead yet. So like if you assume something, this would probably still be a good variation for black, even if the corner is going to be some kind of a ko. Even if it's a ko that gives white an advantage. So black still wants to do this big move in the corner. And if white answers, then white's stone here was pretty useless. So in this case, white's not doing very well. Okay, where did black play? Okay, black play. Oh. Now this looks so scary. So at this point, white's good whatever he does. So like, you can play simply and it's still good for white. So you can allow black to capture a ladder, and white doesn't have to do anything. So this would be the simple way. So white could play away. Play a big move. White could do stuff like this, playing a ladder breaking, maybe sometimes getting a ladder break.
And that's because the white corner is alive and black isn't doing anything.
White corner is alive, and it's like white got an extra move in the corner here. So
Yeah.
It's not only alive, but it's like a fortress. It's so strong.
Yeah,
And so it's really good, what we call a good Aji territory. So
Right.
It's a very happy group. So that would be good enough. White played, and where did white play? White played here. So with the cut here, white's not going to get everything. So white has to be a bit careful here. Yeah, so the ko was probably a mistake. White should just connect. Okay, so if white connects here, white's alive in the corner. So this would be, black's going to collapse. Black's going to have trouble in this variation. So like in this variation, maybe black can live but it's going to kill the other side. So there's a fight going on with the black stones hitting the black stones, so it's not working. So white's alive in the corner. So this would be good for white. Black's going to play here anyway. And this variation, it's still okay for white. This is still okay. So white played the ko. And this was interesting. So here, black connected, white. So they made a trade, and then black cut. Obviously, white's going to capture. So in this variation, if black plays here, are you going to connect the two stones? Say you're white.
If white.
Are you going to connect the two stones?
No, I don't think so.
Definitely not, right? You don't want to connect those two stones. So if black plays the Atari here, black has to worry about all sorts of stuff that could happen on this side, while black is spending a lot of moves taking those two stones. So in the game, black didn't do that, but played here. This gives white a pretty happy shape, relatively happy shape here in the center, with a potential eye there and a lot of space to move around in. So I'm going to differentiate with black playing this move first. So black should have cut here first before finishing the ko. Now black gets to play the Atari, because now black's going to finish with this move. And the outside is so good in this variation that it's irrelevant that white has a ko in the corner. It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't matter. The ko is not as big as the great shape that black's getting on this side.
Right.
So if black does this first, maybe white's going to connect, because now it's a meaningful move. Black gets to connect, and black gets to play here. So this is the ideal way for black to win the ko, in which black would be getting a good territory on the bottom side, and white's stones would be a useless clump of stones, which is heavy and has shortage of liberties. Just going back, maybe white's going to connect this time, just because that was so painful. Black connects the ko. This is better, because now white didn't get to capture the black stone. It's not such good shape. So it's a very subtle thing, but black had to play the cut at 0-4 first. In the game, black didn't do that order, and the result is white got relatively good shape in the center. So this is already good for white. And you can see how white's shape is. White's got the right idea here. White's allowing black to surround the bottom side, and white's shape in the center is pretty much settled. Okay, so the top side here. Okay. Okay, first of all, this is a ladder. So black should just take the ladder and capture the two stones. Black has a big move here. This is good for black. Capturing the ladder like that's just such great shape. And you have something like more than 20 points in that corner sort of automatically, plus the extra. And the left side, white's not going to be able to do much on the left side either. Black has this big move here, which is going to put pressure on the white stones. A lot of positive things are happening for black in this variation. So just take the ladder. The ladder is capturing these two stones. We used to say it's 60 points.
It's a turtle shape.
It was because the Ponunki is 30 points. We call this one 60 points.
Right. It's just...
but it's not so far off. It's bigger than 30 points. So that at least I can say.
Right.
So this was, yeah. So when white got to play the Atari here, the value of those two stones has suddenly decreased by about 10 points at least. Okay, so this was bad. And black ended up taking the ladder anyway. So when black takes in the ladder, what was this move? That was bad shape. Nonetheless, they're continuing the fight. So this was an overplay by white, because white's not really alive. I'd say it's okay for white to live like this. So like this and like this. And then it's alive. Black needs to play a stone here. And white gets to play this is a ladder breaking move. So next white can escape here. And then black's bad shape is an issue, because white has that cut at D14. White has a cut at D17. Sometimes white can play the clamp. White has all sorts of follow-up moves, which makes this a good variation for white. So maybe black's going to capture the two stones after all. So when black ends up capturing these two stones, all of these extra stones in the area, they're especially this one here at AE17, but a lot of those black stones, like one or two of them, are sort of not so important.
Hmm.
So white extended, black covered. White's group is usually dead here, and this was the finishing move. So now white's really dead. It's pretty dead. Like
It's
it can
anyway.
struggle a bit, but actually, if white had played here, this was a it was a lot difficult, much more difficult for black to kill, because this time black doesn't get the cut on the second line. In the game, when black did this, white couldn't play an Atari because of this one. But if white starts by connecting here, black doesn't have that. So there's no way to save this black stone at G19. You'd usually think the corner was dead, but actually, because of this thing on the outside, black can't go after it. So black has to back off here. At this point, black would maybe play something like this, and white would be alive. So black going back here, maybe black would play that move now. But white's going to be alive now. So black's group on the top side, it still has some issues. So in this case, black would continue maybe something like this. It's black can navigate this, but at least it's not a crash for white. White's getting some of the corner territory in this variation, and the fight will continue. So white's losing move, or at least what should have been the losing move, was this one. And black found this mistake. Yeah. So let's see what the game looked like. Yeah. And so there's this crazy ko. In these cases, it's generally better just to stop white from getting the two stones here, because in the game, getting two stones like that, it extends white's liberties. It's pretty irrelevant. In this case, it's bad for white anyway. But in this case, black will have to play the Atari, take the two stones, and then play an Atari here, and then it's a ko, right? So it takes two moves for black to get to the ko. If black just plays here, it's one move, and then it's the ko. So black is losing a move when black does this, and has not really gained. Black hasn't gained any liberties, probably. And this is already good for black. And this is where it looks like the game variation is you have this. This is the game move, and this is as a variation. This was probably the actual game. And I didn't follow up. I didn't follow the rest of the game just because this is so bad. So I haven't seen the rest of the game.
That's okay. That's all right.
But it's something like it's a very distant ko for white to try to save that group on the top. And so this is already a win for black.
Yeah.
Surprisingly close, actually. Yeah, you have a lot of issues with the game record here. Yeah, it looks like white did fairly well to make the game close. And then there was that ko that you showed me at the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, a pity.
Indeed.
Pity for the black player.
Yep.
Okay, one more game.
One more. Uno mas. All right, what do we got?
Song and Wu. Song
Yes.
and
Yes.
let's see, where are we? I'll send you a link.
Yep.
So this was sudden death in the semifinals.
Sudden. No, it's a best of three.
Best of three. Okay. So they're going to be playing each other again.
They switch colors.
Okay.
So they'll play each other tomorrow morning. and switching colors, and then if whoever goes 2-0, whoever goes 2-0 goes into the finals. If they don't, if they split games, then they have to have another game.
Right.
So we'll
Okay.
start. So one, I should just mention both to you and to other folks, one possibility, if both of today's winners win tomorrow morning, they'll probably have the afternoon off, and we'll probably start the finals in the evening. So we'd be able to do actual live commentary, which would be fun. So, but we will have to wait. We just don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens tomorrow.
Okay. So somehow I get the feeling this was the high level game of the day.
You are correct.
Yeah. Okay. So, I might not have so much to say about this game. Okay, they're playing a Joseki here. Joseki here. People who play modern openings like to play that tesuji. Okay, I'll talk about this one. So when black plays here, the idea is that black wants to play a sequence like this. So black's trying to set this up, and this would be reasonably good for black if black gets to connect his stones up like that. So that's the idea in a position where going down like this, it's probably a bit heavy shape. So black didn't want to do that, and black was trying to find something a bit more active. So this is a move that we found with AIs, and it works fairly well if black can get to this shape. So that's the idea. In actuality, white could play here and would play away at this point. So this jumping out at the knight move at G6 is always an important move for white to remember, because it splits black in two and it makes an area on the left side while attacking black. And black has issues on this side. So black's connection to that stone in the corner is still pretty weak. And so because of that, it's playable for white. Okay, so white would not, allowing black to do everything is not really an option. So going back to this move here, another way, which I've seen in professional games, is to play the hane first and then here. So it's the same idea. If white plays here, black gets to do this. So again, white's probably not going to do that, and white's probably going to jump out. And you get into a variation maybe like this, which is a completely different thing. Maybe even. So this would be a kind of, for the time being, it's a trade. There's still stuff going to happen on the bottom side. So it's a really difficult fight. But that's probably a better variation for black. So I would say, if I were black, I would have played the hane first and then tried this, just because black does have that. This is a pretty good shape that black gets in the lower left corner. So, and the right side, it's bad for the time being, but there's stuff that black can do with that group later on. Okay, so to the game. In the game, white ignored black's move ignored black. Obviously, this would be the variation that white wants to avoid. So he's avoiding that. I would have avoided it at this point, maybe. I think this is probably a better variation for white, but I agree with the idea of avoiding it. So white played here and allowed black to cover there. And this is like a 3 point Joseki. This is good shape for black. So I think this is okay for black up to this point. Okay, so white's played here. This is a weird variation. So if white had played here, then black would have played here. This would be what black wants to do. So white will probably play here, and black will play here. But actually, maybe he was afraid black was going to try something like this, which would still have a kind of a squeeze on this side. Because if black plays here, white gets to play here. This would revert to the game position. They played it in a different order. So white started with this, black pushed through, and then white covered in the corner. This actually worked fairly well for white. So I think black should have just extended to B2. This is a living shape for black. So black has settled that group in the corner. And if white plays at E2, black gets to push through at C5. So that would be really bad shape for white. And black would still have pretty much two eyes. It's like if I completely surrounded it, then I could create a dead shape. But in most cases, this is going to have no trouble. Or if white plays on this side, black can play here. That's also very close to alive. It's close enough to make me feel safe.
Hmm.
So black should have just extended. In a way, this sort of fell into the trap. It's close enough. Not bad for black. Not necessarily bad. So the whole variation, I think the fact that black got good shape with this, let's use this three, good shape when black played here. Black had a good connected shape on the top and has continued to make a fairly healthy group. So black has accomplished what black set out to do and makes it a reasonably good variation for black. White hasn't done anything bad either, and white also got a good shape on the left side. So it's close enough to even. Okay, so that's okay. That's the kind of thing you see computers do. Obviously, there's no reason black shouldn't play on the top side somewhere, maybe here. That would have been the easy move to play. I think maybe this was, he didn't expect white to play away, maybe. Playing away, the top side is big. Okay, reasonably good shape. Okay, usually you don't want to curl there. Usually you want to play here. And this would still, you would still be able to connect underneath. So it's not an issue. Black's probably going to play here. And this is probably slightly better than what white did in the game. So you usually don't want to curl there. It's sort of painful. Okay, so here, yeah, okay. Okay, here. So this is where white sacrificed the right side, and I think it was too much. So white played here and here. So when white plays here, it becomes difficult to save this group because if white plays here, he's playing into an Atari. So that's why this is difficult for white. And what white did in the game is white sacrificed like this. Oh, sorry. White sacrificed like this. And that was a lot of territory. I don't like this for white. So going back a few moves, there was no reason not to play here and live. So this is bad shape for both sides, which makes it an even fight. So black can play here and white has bad shape here, but also black has bad shape because if white plays here, it's really lousy shape for the black stones too. So because of this counterattack at P12, white can fight this one. And of course, the lower part of the bottoms, the right part of the lower side is white's area. So white has a local advantage there.
Yeah, I thought that was a very strange sacrifice. I didn't understand why.
Backing away from the fight. Yeah, white had to continue the fight. And black has to black's moves are forced. In order to justify what black did, black has to continue like this. It's just that black two stones, they have this shortage of liberties. Like if you were going to play a shape move, black would probably play here, but this makes it easy for white because this is a net. So black has to try to find something more forceful. But this is a fight white can play because black has such bad shape. So white had to fight it out here. Yeah, this was too pacific. Maybe white thought they could make some territory in the center. It turns out it's going to be pretty difficult.
No, I think that's exactly what they thought, but that just seems like you're giving up. You're giving your opponent, a nice bunch of cash for a promissory note.
Yeah. Also, this one. This was a tesuji when white played at P18. It was a tesuji, but it didn't really gain anything. So it's probably better for white to be playing something from above and looking at the double hane instead. So like if white gets a double hane like this, there's more potential with this move. So like maybe white gets an extra forcing move here sometimes, or just the hane sugi. So yeah, it would have been forcing earlier in the game, but when black played here, nothing was happening. So for the viewers, weaker players, You just have to remember that S19 is the important shape move in the corner,
Interesting
which wins
question.
the semi.
Interesting question. So you said it was bad shape for both sides, so it makes it an even fight. When Smoglet says understands the statement, but not really. Is it because one player played bad shape, it's okay to answer with bad shape, or is it just a result of a mistake from both sides, which I think is what you were saying?
Okay, so I should rephrase that. So white has bad shape, but the weakness, the fact that this would a move here would pretty much kill the black stones on the right. It's a kind of a safety line for white
Mm,
there.
mm,
It's also so to put it more concisely, this whole area is an area where white has a lot of strength.
yeah,
So although white locally has bad shape when white played at Q8, that's an empty triangle. And in many game positions, if black had a bit more strength in the local area, this fight could potentially be a problem for white. But the fact that like this would just pretty much finish off those black stones, and the fact that white has strength in the local position, it means that this is going to be playable for white. So that's what I'm trying to say here.
okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Hmm. If you feel uneasy, you can add a sum here. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So like I was just looking at the end game. Like it's pretty natural. I'd have to spend a lot of time figuring out where they went wrong or not. But because it's they're not doing anything that's really bad. It's just it looks like black has a bit of a lead. Maybe the lead is expanding. You can see black getting these 4 stones here. And it just sort of demonstrates that white wasn't getting anything in the center. Like it looks like black is taking these 4 stones, black that alone gave black more territory than white managed to gain.
Right.
And so a very steady end game. I think the game was pretty much decided when black took the right side in this variation.
Yeah, that's
Maybe white underestimated black's move at R13. Because like the thing is, if white plays here, it's walking into an Atari. And so it's sort of painful. Even if black plays here, black could capture the 2 stones. Might be better to play here. And there's also the cut on the second line anyway. So it's not as if white would maybe have to play this one and it's still not alive locally. And white doesn't have any counterattack here because white's short of liberties. So the best white can do is play an untap so white's still in trouble there. And so in this case, white's going to lose most of the bottom side. So it's even worse towards the bottom side. Now black's strong and attacking the bottom side. So like there's no comparison in this variation to the other variation where white is relatively comfortable in the fight.
right. Right.
Yeah. So that's where white lost the game. And so it's a sign of they're playing that black played a great end game, I think. I haven't researched it, but it looks pretty steady.
Yeah, but both those players are, strong 7 dans. One's a quite experienced one, so it's really interesting.
Mhm.
And I've been watching their games and really just strong, solid, sort of unflappable. So we have
Mhm.
one more question that would be a good one, I think, to wrap up on, which is I think harkening back to the game, where Michael, overlooked. He was also playing a little fast too, which is part of the problem, and missed the snapback. But they're wondering if you have any war stories about when something like that happened to you, or either you or maybe something that you saw, as a professional.
You mean mistakes towards the end of the game?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, if you lose your concentration, it happens. Like it happened to me um, on a televised game I played against Zhou-Zhou. That was one of my best games in the last year.
Mm-hmm.
I played this great opening and middle game, and then I threw it away. 2 or 3 mistakes in the end game, and so things like that happen. It's really important to keep your focus on the game.
I was wondering about that. These guys have been playing two fairly long games.
Hmm.
Like three and a half, hours each day. Which that I'm just thinking about what it takes both physically and to your point, when you're playing these games, and I've been, we've been, looking at it with like, AI Sensei, and a bunch of these games are like close, 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 close. 2 points here, 3 points. I mean, just close for
Hmm.
like long periods of time. Um, so you have to keep your concentration and not that one small slip can
Yeah,
be the difference. And I'm just wondering
right.
how that, what that.
Well, sometimes it's a good idea not to worry too much about the result
Mm,
because, like, there's no point. You just have to try to do your best and not worry about it,
hmm
and
hmm
and then you can play a good game. Sometimes you get too much anxious sometimes about what how it's going to turn out.
Yep.
And if it's a close game and if you seem to be doing well, it's more important just to focus on finding the best moves or finding the best moves you want to play, which is especially when there's time control. That
Right.
is when there's some issues with that. You have to in order to use your time effectively. Um, it's better to judge by the flow of the sun. So like if you think you're doing fairly well, you have to go with that. You can be wrong sometimes, but it can't be helped. A lot of calculation of the score of the game it's usually a bad idea when you're short of time.
Uh, it's so true, so true. But
Mhm.
I can't help. I think it might
In
have
this
been.
game, we still have up. I have the feeling that White was maybe a bit complacent, maybe a bit too satisfied with. He got to the left side, he got to invade the top side. It was all going according to plan, sort of. And maybe he thought he had a slight lead. He might even have been right, but so he sort of gave in a little bit by sacrificing that group on the right. And he was trying to play a safe variation, maybe. That's the impression I get.
Yeah, I would agree with that. All right, Michael. Once again, you have been incredibly generous with your time, and as always, we appreciate it. And I know that your many fans out there just love to see the the depth that
Oh
you're
yeah.
going into on
Um,
these.
I keep forgetting to talk about my YouTube channel. People should go on
I
the
was just
YouTube
gonna
channel.
set you up. Yeah, just tell
Oh,
us real
great.
quick about some of the things you've been doing there lately.
Recently, I've been doing a lot of historical games. I've been doing something I'm calling the Golden Era, which is the era where the Tokugawa shogunate, it was the government that unified Japan,
Mm-hmm,
basically,
mm-hmm.
and had a peaceful country for almost 300 years. Um, and this was a period where Go flourished because they started the Iemoto system, which is like people will know about flower arrangement and tea ceremonies and things like that. All of these Japanese cultures were sponsored by the government, and they made little schools, which were called Iemoto. Um, and these schools were got stipends from the government, so they were paid to just to do their thing. And there were the Go schools. There were the four Go schools. And so because they spent 100% of their time just studying and they didn't have to hustle to survive, there was this, and also Go was, um, people started playing Go because of the peaceful country. People had the leisure to enjoy things like Go. They didn't have smartphones at the time, so they played Go.
Well, more to the point, they didn't have people trying to kill them all the time like they had been.
Right. That was a big issue, right? So,
Yes.
and so Go flourished greatly. And that's why I'm calling it the golden era.
Mm-hmm.
And just a few decades into it, we get to Hoinbo Dosaku, who was
Mm-hmm.
maybe the greatest genius. He was the greatest genius who lived long enough to make a difference. So, like, there were other players who I would argue were maybe equal or even better than Dosaku. But he was the one who lived something like I think he lived to his 50s at least. and he completely changed the theory of Go because of that.
Yes. Yeah, if you haven't looked at Dosaku's games, I would start with what Michael's doing, and
Mhm.
then just you can't go wrong with looking at those
Mhm.
games. They're
And so that would led to the Japanese supremacy up to about the 20th
That's right.
century. I don't think it didn't last into the 21st century, but
No.
there was a period where Japan was the strongest country in the world. And that was because of the Edo era, which came before, when Japan was a unified country. They'd finished their feudal war and they had about 300 years, well, 250 to 300 years of peace, which is a very unusual thing, actually.
It
And
is.
especially throughout the world in that era, it was an unusual thing.
But they had Go, so
They had Go, yeah, so they played Go.
so check it out on Michael's YouTube channel. We will add links to his YouTube channel in all of his commentary videos. I will do that
Great,
tonight.
thank you.
So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll be in touch tomorrow. I'll let you know what happens, and have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm gonna go put some
Mhm.
links in and post our stories. So thank you, thanks
Great.
everybody for watching. 9:30 tomorrow morning, second and possibly final round of the semis. We will have to wait and
Okay.
see. I will see you then. Thank you,
Right.
Michael.
Bye.
Take care.